depending on where you are in the journey. Sometimes it hurts, because you may have been saved after you've had your kids. And you can see some of them going down the wrong paths, and there's not a lot you can do if they're living in the world and you're not. You can only be that light in the darkness and trust in God. Because remember something that's really important. I hope this makes things easier for some of you, especially the ones who are giving yourselves to God and making a real effort to live a righteous lifestyle. And maybe your children are living in the world and they don't understand you. They want to make you feel like there's something wrong with you when you give yourself to the Lord and living in righteous ways and turning from sin and changing everything about yourself, letting the Lord mold you into who you were meant to be before the world corrupted you. This people in the world, they're like crabs in a bucket. And instead of encouraging those of us who want to better ourselves and help others, they would rather pull you down and have you think like them and idolize the wrong things. It can be painful when you see your kids going down the wrong paths, but understand something, that your kids are truly God's children, just like we're God's children. Our children belong to God, and we have to put our trust in the Lord and know that He's going to do what's right. And everybody has their moments, and we can encourage people, and really the best thing that we can do is to follow God and to trust in Him, to live a righteous lifestyle and not live worldly ways, and be an example to set for the world. But have a good relationship with the Lord and talk to Him. There's a time and a place for everything, just like there was a time and a place for you to come to God, whether you have or you're going to. And the same can be for our children as well. We're all given a certain amount of time to get things out of our system. But I know what it feels like to wish that I could have come to Him sooner. We can't do anything about that. We can only make the best of what we've got and be grateful to God that He has saved us, and that we can try and be an example to others and teach others to come to God. That's all we can do, is put our trust and faith in the Lord and pray for those around us to come to Him and to give up the worldly ways, and that includes our children, who are His children, by the way. Don't forget that. And it does make things easier too. Because you don't want to be dragged back into worldly ways. It's important. Saving your soul is the utmost importance. Believing in Jesus Christ is much more than acknowledging His existence or wearing a cross around your neck or going to church. It's turning away from sin. It's turning away from idolizing yourself and others and putting emphasis on God and His will for your life, living for the kingdom of God instead of yourself, and not living for greed and lust and all these things that people are driven by. This world makes you think that there's something wrong with you if you're not out trying to make a quick buck. Trust in God and all things will He give you. He's beautiful and He will provide. And if He says He's going to do something for you, trust Him. Trust in God's time. Time belongs to the Lord. John 3:19. And this is the condemnation, that light has come into the world, and men love darkness rather than the light, because their deeds were evil. For everyone that doeth evil hateth the light, neither cometh to the light, lest his deeds should be reproved. Come to God. He knows what you've done. You don't have to hide anything. That's the beautiful part about having a relationship with the Lord. It's the most amazing relationship you'll ever have. God knows the hearts and minds of men. There are no secrets. None. Imagine that. Imagine a best friend that knows every thought, everything. Someone who loves you and appreciates you. You just got to turn away from sin. You got to live your life for God instead of the world, and everything will change for you. There is nothing like having a good relationship with Jesus Christ. You're never alone. Your best friend is with you every day, everywhere you go. You know how great that is? There's so many people, and I feel bad, especially, during the holidays, if people aren't fully committed to the Lord and they're by themselves, it could be extremely lonely and sad. But once you have a good relationship with the Lord, once you turn away from evil and you really make God your priority and you want to do His will, your best friend is with you 24/7. You're never alone. God's always here. God sees everything. God is always with us. It's just that when you're living for the world, you're not gonna get that benefit of that kind of companionship, because He does require your faithfulness. He deserves it. How can you repay someone who died for you, who laid down his life for you so that your soul could be saved? How do you thank Him? Turning away from sin, living righteously, doing the will of God. That's a beautiful thing. He'll provide for you. He loves you. He takes care of you. He just requires you being faithful, be willing and obedient to the Lord. That's what it takes. And you can do it. Put your faith and trust in the Lord.